You can't always get what you want, but you can always get what you expect. Let's talk about the law of expectation, or law of expectancy. The jargon is not as important as what it's really about, and it's not very much talked about, because expectation is a very tiny aspect that has an immense effect in what we want to create and manifest in our life. Your subconscious does not respond to your wants and needs. It's truly responding to the expectations that you have about those things that you want in your life, and truly about everything in your life. But here's the trick. For all of us, our expectations were trained from a very young age, and in many cases, we were trained in a way to expect what our caretakers expected, and in general, many people don't expect much from life. I'm sure you've heard yourself or others say, well, I'd rather not expect much so that way I won't be disappointed. So if you listen to that statement, it sounds sort of, well, of course this makes sense, but it's actually killing your opportunities to manifest what you really want in life. Because what you're saying is, I will be disappointed, so I'm not going to expect much, right? So what's really, really happening within you, what you're really vibrating, all the signal that you're sending out there is disappointment, fear of failure, fear of being disappointed. You're not really sending the message of clarity of what you want and that you deserve it. How do we, first of all, even become aware of the expectations that we have? See, our expectations are tied to our belief system. They're in a dance together. Our expectations create our belief systems influence our expectation. So as you move through life and you have a desire for something, and that desire could be simply expanding, growing, experiencing more joy and happiness. As you become aware of this thought, of this idea, of this desire, start to also pay attention to what you expect. If, let's say, you want to experience more joy in your life, if you pay even a little bit of attention, you'll start to notice that what's really happening underneath, what that expectation is. And the expectation could be, well, we shouldn't expect that much joy because, well, we haven't lived in that much joy. Or especially in the case of trauma, you might say, well, whenever I try to be joyful, something always goes wrong. This is a massive expectation that most people have, this expectation that no matter how good it gets, something will go wrong. And the something that goes wrong gets so much of their attention. And so they're not really expecting all that much. So you might say, well, I expect the best. If that is a statement that you're making logically and intellectually, start to pay attention how you feel when you make that statement. When you do, you'll notice if it's truly ingrained in you, if it's deeply embedded in you truthfully. What I mean by that is that we fool ourselves very easily with our minds. We know so much. And yet, when it comes to how we really feel about those things, it's totally different. So on the surface, you might say, well, yeah, of course I expect the best, of course. But I want you to really pay attention and see if you truly do expect the best for yourself, or if you're simply saying it as a way to try to cover up those fears and insecurities that you feel about your desire to experience more, to manifest more, to create more, better, more fun, more joy. A handful of years ago, 3 different teachers were brought into the principal's office and told that based on assessments, they were excellent teachers, and so they were paired up with excellent students, with students that were exceptionally bright, who did exceptionally well. And so they were sent off. At the end of the year, the students not only outperformed their previous performances, but they outperformed the whole school. And it was revealed at the end of the year that the students and the teachers were completely picked at random. They didn't have exceptionally high IQs or hadn't done exceptionally well at tests. But this state of positive expectancy created by the teachers in the classrooms had raised the vibration and the energy so much that the students and the teachers, they flowed and their stream was moving so powerfully that they were able to outperform themselves. Now, this is not about school performance. It's really about showing how positive expectation about who we are and what's possible for us can have such an incredible and much more powerful effect on our life than even the numbers on an IQ test or what we've done in the past, which is where many people get hung up. They think, well, I haven't really done all that great, so I can't expect that much now. But as you begin to retrain your expectation, you'll begin to start seeing that way in which you were, in which you have been, is not as important in the way in which you are here now and what you expect here now, from here on now. So how do you now train your expectation? Well, training your expectation is all about your focus. What do you focus on? So where do you put your attention to? So if you start to notice, let's say you want something, whatever that is, as I said before, it could be a physical thing, it could be a better state of being, whatever that is. As you start to pay attention to the things that you really feel about it, you'll notice doubt. And doubt is basically, in a way, it's a way in which you are sort of bleeding slowly, and it's sort of a way of poisoning yourself slowly, right? So much doubt trickling in, and all of a sudden you find yourself overwhelmed because this doubt has totally redirected your attention. So to retrain your focus is to do this moment to moment. Sometimes we think, well, I will retrain my focus if, let's say, I want I want a soulmate, or I want a better, even a job, or I want to feel better. What we'll do is we will feel crummy most of the day, and then we'll pick a time and we'll get a thought about a soulmate, and maybe we'll think, oh, wouldn't that be nice? It would be nice to have a soulmate, to have someone to feel deeply connected with, to share a great relationship with. But then what really happens is the doubt starts trickling in. The expectation is not really there. The positive expectation is not really there. And soon enough, you'll find yourself back to negative thoughts and a negative state of being. So the best way to train your expectation is to do it at this very moment, to start focusing on what is working in your life, what is positive in your life, what is flowing. And that sense of flow could be so much more present than you believe it is, right? In many cases, we will say, well, set some bushes on fire. Give me a massive signal, universe. But the universe is constantly sending you signals, and they're very small, and they're moment to moment to moment. And that's what the universe is saying. You train your focus right here and now. And the more that you do that, the more that you expect the more that you expect you to be present in every moment and to appreciate every moment, you'll start noticing that positive expectation beginning to trickle into all the other areas of your life. So, as you continue on this path, remember that what you expect about yourself, about everything and everyone and the whole universe around you, is exactly what will show up. Because your expectation, in a way, creates a veil around your perception. And if you have a negative expectation, that veil will be extremely dark. And so you'll see very little of what's truly happening around you. And as that expectation is brighter, more positive, all those insecurities and doubts, they begin to wash off of you. And as they do, there's a lightness of being. And what you begin to attract is so much more in line with what your true soul, with your true higher being really desires for you.